Let me just start off by saying I'm not really a big wrestling fan, never was. You really don't need to be when talking about what we're about to be talking about, but still, I just want to kind of put it out there in the universe, just to kind of put a background out there. In fact, the first time that I actually sat down and watched some WWE Royal Rumble was actually last Saturday, and it was great, entertaining. I enjoyed it very, very much. But the timing was really something because it was on that day, the day I decided to watch WWE for the first time, I found out something actually really, really disturbing because it was on that day that I found out that Vince McMahon, the owner of WWE, was forced to step down due to some very, very horrific allegations and crimes such as sex trafficking and abuse and sexual assault. So it was shocking to hear. Now, for those of you who don't know, Vince McMahon was a very big part of the WWE, not only as its owner, but also as kind of a character as well. There are a multitude of different clips of Vince that are extremely popular. He's actually part of a very recent meme, the one where he's sitting in front of the camera, he starts crying like, "I'm Vince McMahon. Don't talk to me." And that was a really, really popular meme. And it came out a couple months ago. And now this stuff has happened. The ironic thing is that in the WWE kind of show that is put on, he's always kind of put on as the villain, like the evil billionaire that controls the entire company. And that was kind of his persona and character. Little did we all know that he was actually that person in real life. I didn't know. I was shocked when I found out. But I was more shocked when I found out that other people weren't shocked because apparently problems with Vince have been happening for a very, very long time. And it's with these issues that were recently stated. Because in the past, he was accused of being abusive. He was accused of sexual assault. And I think at one point he did have to step back for a little bit before coming right back into the WWE in that company. I didn't know that. I'm not going to go too in deep when it comes to the Vince McMahon situation. I still want to talk about it, but when it comes to the actual things that he's being accused of and the story that's being told, if you look up the lawsuit, because he does have a lawsuit that he's currently facing, it's just so shocking to hear the stuff that he forced people to do. And it's really shocking to kind of hear kind of the extent of the depravity that this piece of garbage, this absolute asshole, forced people to do. It's shocking. He also apparently has been paying people hush money this entire time. So on top of the things that he's been doing, which are like legitimate crimes, he's also been covering it up this entire time, which, is just another crime. I mean, you can't write this stuff. This is stuff that you'd see in like a movie or something. Evil billionaire does evil things, covers it up with money. He's like that owner from The Boys that's played by Gustavo Fring. He's exactly that person, but I think worse somehow. No, not somehow, definitely worse. I will take 1,000 presidents controlling evil superheroes over this piece of crap. But it is shocking that not only has this stuff been happening, but also just how it was managed to be kept hidden for such a long time, or at the very least kept quiet, because it wasn't really hidden well. The accusation was still out there. Nothing was really resolved. It just kind of floated away, and the WWE really didn't do anything to try to stop or kind of look into anything that Vince was doing up until this lawsuit that recently came out. Because I feel like the stuff in the lawsuit, I don't know the whole thing. I haven't read the whole thing. From what I did read, it was definitely some really horrific stuff that I read, and it's not even the full thing. So I imagine there's a lot more information that's going to be coming out with this lawsuit and whatever's going to come with the case. But I think it also begs the question if things are going to get worse for Vince on top of that, because not only is he dealing with this stuff in this specific case, will other past cases come back to haunt him? Because that stuff still did happen in the past, and that's just the stuff that we know of. There might be other stuff that might have happened with Vince, and I wouldn't doubt it either. If he was able to pay 4 women millions of dollars over, 16 years just to keep them quiet, that's like chump change to this guy, because this guy is like stupidly rich. So it wouldn't surprise me if there are other people that he did pay who have gone through similar experiences that are just keeping quiet because they have that kind of hush money. Not to mention that he was just kind of and this is probably the least of his problems, he was also just kind of an asshole behind the scenes, from what I heard. Because to be in that kind of business, people have to be like at least somewhat close, because it's dangerous stuff that they do in the WWE. And I know he's not like a wrestler, but he does he does participate in like some physical action, and he definitely is a big part of the acting aspect of the WWE. And with him being one of the most prominent characters that's in the WWE, a lot of the wrestlers and other people that are also part of that industry probably had to be very, very close with Vince, which means they had to see him on the screen, they had to see him off the screen. And from what it's sounding like, it seems like Vince McMahon is the same on screen as off screen. In fact, I'd make the argument that he's probably worse off screen than he is on screen. I think the WWE Vince, the one who puts on the show in front of thousands of people, that one is probably better than the real Vince McMahon. But with Vince kind of stepping down, I doubt that he's ever going to be back in the WWE. I just really don't see a situation where after everything that's happening, even after the lawsuit, one, I'd be surprised if he didn't get jail time from everything that's happening. I don't think it's going to be for money. Might be for some money, but hopefully, if they're doing it right, they're going to be seeking jail time and not just, a civil money case. But regardless on which way the axe swings, I doubt that he'll ever have another opportunity to be back in the WWE. I think that position has gone. I think that ship has sailed and is sailing far, far away from Vince McMahon. Because I think it'd be really, really gross and disgusting if after everything that just came out that Vince McMahon would somehow manage to just sneak his way back into the WWE and pretend like nothing happened. I just don't see that being a possibility. But the unfortunate truth with that as well is that the WWE has been very successfully managed to just kind of move around the situation of Vince McMahon and not really addressing it as fully as they ought to have. And yes, right now the cat's out of the bag. It's the worst it's ever going to be for Vince McMahon. It's worse than all the other accusations that just kind of got swept under the rug. Now they really don't have a choice but to address the situation, but it also kind of bears in mind the question, are they going to stay to their word and are they going to keep Vince McMahon out of the WWE? And one would hope that they'd be able to do that. I feel like it's the least they can do considering everything that they've managed to do in terms of keeping Vince McMahon in. And plus, I playing devil's advocate, if he ever did come back into the WWE, went into the arena with the thousands of people watching the WrestleMania or whatever WWE event that'd be on, I doubt that he would get any applause. He'd get nothing but boos probably. And deservingly so. And that's probably the least that they could do. But right now we just have to wait to see how this lawsuit kind of plays out. Hopefully things go well for the victims of this case, because it really is horrific what they had to be put through. I hope this guy gets jail time and not just a fine, because a fine is nothing to this guy. And I hope that if there's anybody else out there who has suffered at the hands of this dude, that they have the strength and courage to come forward and kind of tell their side of the story and tell their tale. But really, at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see. I hope everything works out in the end. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are. My name is Brockster, and keep you mine. And I bid you all adieu.